Good evening. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our second monthly webinar. So for those of you who are new to the Pregnancy Village, each month we put on a webinar, a free webinar, which will just help you with various aspects of your pregnancy and perhaps some parenting tips and advice. And tonight we have the wonderful Amelia with us.
Hello.
And Amelia's going to be talking to us all about bonding with your bump. So I'll hand over to Amelia. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. Thanks, Caroline. It's great to be here. And yeah, I'm going to be talking to you guys this evening about bonding with your bump and how wonderful it is and how we can play with our babies before they're even born. I'm going to have a looking at the environmental conditions of our babies when they're in our womb, how their development and their awareness develops as they go through growing for 9.5 months in our bodies, and then how we can play with them and get our partners and other siblings perhaps involved with playing them as well. Okay, so I'm Amelia Parkinson from the Waisipo, Sydney. I teach a prenatal bonding 3-hour class. I also teach birthing programs, and I run the Positive Birth Movement, which is a free monthly meeting to talk about positive birth in Burwood. Okay.
And if you have any questions as we go through, like we want to keep this interactive, that's why we're doing it live. So if you have any questions, just type them in and we're happy to take your questions as you go along.
Okay. So yeah, I'm happy to answer anything. So feel free to post whatever you want. So first we'll be looking at the environment and how our emotional well-being can really affect our babies when they're in our womb. So it's really important to think about how we are and how we process our emotions when we're pregnant. Quite often when you fall pregnant, whether you desperately want the baby or it might have been, a bit of a mistake, or you might have had IVF, it's being pregnant can be really, really stressful. And despite that, lots of people tell pregnant women to stay calm and relaxed and take it easy. But it's a massive life-changing thing, so it's not that easy to do, and it's basically impossible. So we need to work out a way how to process our emotions. So our babies in our womb, they feel our emotions. So if we're feeling happy, they get a little buzz of endorphins and happy hormones, and they feel that joy as well. But that goes for the same when we're feeling more difficult feelings. So if we're feeling sad or some anger or grief, or we're feeling stressed, then our baby too starts feeling those emotions. So it's really important as a pregnant lady that we deal with our emotions appropriately. So we don't block them out, we don't sort of hang on to them, we just work out what the message is with that emotion and process it, and then we're able to let it go. So it's a really key thing to start practicing when you're pregnant, and also to start talking with your partner about as well, because how you talk to your partner and how you communicate with each other is really important at this stage of the parenting journey. But also when you become parents, things can get a little bit more crazy, a little bit less time. So you want to have those effective communication routes really clear. You want to be able to understand and acknowledge each other's feelings really well. And by doing this, and by doing this with your baby in your womb, you're really modeling this behavior for your baby, and to show them that it's okay to feel sad or stressed sometimes, because we deal with it and we problem solve together, and we focus on that emotion, and then we're able to let it go. So that's just something I just wanted to have a little quick chat about, you guys, and it's really important. So if you've got any questions, just let me know. So the next part we going to look at is how you bond with your baby. Now, there's so many wonderful things you can do, and you probably, if you're pregnant now, you probably don't even know that you actually are, doing a lot of these. We naturally sort of, when we're pregnant, quite often, I used to talk to my bump all the time, no matter how boring or anything my day was, because our babies love to hear the sound of our voices. So from 9 weeks, our baby's earbuds are starting to form. And then by 18 weeks, they can start to hear. And then by 25 weeks, they're really interacting with their environment. So that's within the womb, but then also with the outside environment, outside your belly as well. So they can respond to light and dark, they can respond to noises and things like that. So our babies want to communicate with us straight away. They want to, try and get our attention straight away, even before they're in our arms. So there's loads of things that you can do, and I've sort of broken it up into music, which is a really good one, reading, and relaxation. So, we can listen to music and we can sing along to our favourite song. Our babies love hearing music, and, kids love music as well when they're born. And if this is your first pregnancy, I wouldn't suggest listening to lots of nursery rhymes now, because you don't need to.
There's plenty of time for that.
That's right. You have loads and loads of time for that, and the Wiggles and all those high five, all of them. So just still listen to your favourite bands now, because they'll be at the bottom of your playlist by the time you have a baby. And, my son he loves sort of like a bit of hard rock or anything like that. And I'm sure that's because I used to listen to it when I was pregnant quite loud in the car. So, yeah. So there's lots of time for nursery rhymes, but sing to your babies. They love hearing your voice.
Actually, just sorry.
Yeah, no.
Just on that music, I'll just add to that.
Yeah,
I used to listen to this particular CD when I was pregnant with my first, with Samira, and when she was born, after she was born, she would instantly calm. Like if I put that on again, it was like she remembered that music and she would instantly calm. So good trick.
Absolutely. If you're going to bed at night and listening to like a relaxation, anything, because our babies remember that, and they totally hear, and there's been loads of studies in the UK and Australia, they've done it, but they've done it with soap theme tunes.
Mine was like yoga music. It was relaxation music.
So with the Neighbours and the EastEnders theme tune, they played like that to babies, and babies naturally went into a relaxation response. And when they spoke to the mothers, particularly first-time mums, it was because that was, most mums were still working full time. And then when they sat down to have a cup of tea in the early evening, that would be the first song. That would be the first thing that their baby heard. So the baby associates that sound with a relaxation response, because the mother's baby then relaxed. And I talk about that, your pelvis relaxes, your womb relaxes. The baby's got more room to move around. So it has that relaxation response and remembers that beautiful music, which was Neighbours, but for you, a relaxation tune. So our babies can definitely remember things. And it's really good if you can start getting in the habit of doing that now, because particularly when our babies come out of our wombs, they've got to process everything. It can be a bit more difficult for them. So if we can play them something that they'll remember and react with that relaxation response, then that can be really helpful in just giving them that extra little bit of comfort and soothing sort of, Another way you can bond with your baby is to give your bump a nickname. Did you give your bumps nicknames?
Actually, Samira, with our first, we knew that she was a girl, and we called her Samira from 19 weeks.
Cool.
So she had the name, and that was just her.
Yeah.
The second we called baby Bagga, so just like the surname. We didn't know if she was going to be a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
And then the third I called her Indy, even though my husband wouldn't agree to the name.
Oh, right.
So that was her nickname. They all sort of had a
name.
An actual name or a nickname of sorts. Yeah, and I found it nice for connecting in that way. I really, particularly with Samira, we decided together that was her name.
Yes.
And it just felt really natural to call her that.
Yeah. So if you haven't named your bump already, definitely give them a name. It's a really good way of connecting. And mine, I didn't know if I was having a boy or a girl. but my partner was a mad Star Wars fan, so it was called Chewie, like Chewbacca. So that was a bit of a weird one.
I've heard Bean and
Yeah.
Baby Bean and Bump. Like some people just call them Bumps.
Yeah. So it's good because then you just feel a little bit more of a connection and a closeness. And particularly like if you've decided on the name, then that's
Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah. So music, what else can we do with music? So if you wanted to, you could put headphones on your bump and then your baby could hear it as well. But if not, your baby just loves to, hear you sing, hear you talk. And if you go like that and you can hear that vibration, it's like you sound a bit more different when you do that. I look a bit weird doing that. Sorry. But if you do that at home, we think that's pretty similar to what our babies hear. So it's a bit muffled, but they can definitely recognise our voice. So I often suggest with singing and bonding and things like that to my couples, if they're home like on a Saturday night, why don't they have like a bit of a karaoke competition? Just have a little sing along. Because, it's lots of fun. Babies love it when we're happy and we laugh, and we have lots of oxytocin flowing around our bodies when we're laughing, and good endorphins. So our babies will really love that, and they'll feel that connection also with your partner. Your baby will hear, your partner belting out a tune, singing or whatever, but they will feel that you are really happy and relaxed and feel safe. So that's really important for that bonding with your partner as well, with your baby. Okay.
That's fun.
Yeah. So that's some good funny little things to do.
Karaoke minus the alcohol.
Yes, I know. Yes, definitely. Well, that's it. Pregnant ladies. But still, you can still have fun and sing along. So the other thing you can do is like read, and lots of reading to our bumps is just awesome. Our babies, like I said, love the sound of our voice, but also reading can be really good. It can just really help us to relax as well. So maybe I used to read in the bath to my son when he was in my belly, and I got some A.A. Milne, which is like this really beautiful poet, and he writes lots of kids stuff, even though I was reading kids stuff before I had kids. But it was something that my grandma and my dad used to read to me when I was little. So I felt really connected with them as well, just sort of doing that to reading to my son when he was in my belly. And it's lots of rhyming stuff, and kids really like that, and little kids, there's been lots said about their about learning development and reading and language development if you read like rhyming books and rhyming poems and things like that. So reading anything is really, really good. And also by doing reading daily to our bumps, we're helping with their language development and stuff. Everyone recommends like preschool, school, kindy, everything, read to your kids every day. So why not do it now? Like when they're inside you, they can still hear you. And it's a really, really beautiful way to connect. And it's also a really nice way for you to relax, to sort of, if you're going to have a bath, then just to relax and get lost in a story. It's really important that we look after ourselves as pregnant women and take that real time out for ourselves as well. Yeah. I'll just have a bit more tea. I'm talking a lot. So the other thing is relaxation. Now, relaxation is really important, like I said, for mums, but also you'll quite often find, I reckon every pregnant woman finds this, just as they're lying down to go to sleep at night, and they just lie down and they're so tired, then, baby starts pummeling and, playing football in your belly. And that used to really annoy me when I was pregnant because I was so exhausted. But also once I knew why, then I sort of, was really happy about it, because our babies are really happy when we relax. All our ligaments relax, our pelvis relax, our baby gets loads more space in our womb So then it's got more room to move around and explore, stretch out a bit. If you're coming closer to your due time, then, you know, your baby may be trying to get into a better position for birth as well. So it's really, it's great, even though you're probably really tired and you just want to go to sleep. It's really good to know that your baby's just really enjoying themselves. It's enjoying you relaxing. And if you're listening like to a piece of music or something like that, your relaxation hormones and endorphins are probably quite high, so your baby's getting that really lovely buzz of that as well. So even though you're really tired, just remember that your baby's having a really nice time. So yeah. And then now we can talk about like how siblings and birth partners can get involved. So there's lots of games you can actually play with your bump when they're in your belly. So they love it when you know, rub your belly, touch your belly, scratch your belly, just pat it. The baby can sense that and can just really sense that connection. So your baby loves that. So it's important to do that all the time. And I mean, most pregnant women just rub their belly anyway, don't they?
It's a natural thing to,
yeah. And then also, if you're sitting down and you're a bit relaxed and you might see your baby like kicking or, you know, putting out its little feet or its hands or something like that, then you could just like press on your belly just once, and then see, they might press back, press twice, might press. There's loads of clips on YouTube with like bellies and counting and pressing and making little patterns. So try that and experiment with that, because they'll definitely love that interaction with you. They really, really love to play with you like that. And another thing you can do is like get like a mini flashlight and shine it across your belly, and your baby may like follow it with its hands or its feet, or it may just, you know, watch it, because it can tell the difference between day and night, and also like light and dark. And you can see just by putting a little torch on your belly like how much it lights up. But our babies also know like when it's nighttime and when it's daylight, and when you go outside, like they can sense and feel the different changes in the environment as well. So there's a couple of things you can do, but also you can get your partner or other siblings that you've got, if you've got little ones around, but then also, you know, nieces and nephews, aunties and uncles, anyone who's going to be significant in your baby's life. They can play and bond with your baby well before it's born. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think one of the things that I did for the second and third, there's a thing called belly mapping. I'm sure you're familiar with it, where you can sort of work out where your baby is based on the different movements that you can feel. And I found that really useful to actually understand, like, you know, oh, actually that's a little hand there, and like knowing their and understanding their position really helped me with, sort of visualizing where they were and what that little movement, you know, that little sensation, like that little sort of tickling sensation. Oh, that's their hand there. And it was really lovely to actually understand that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think I came across that on the Spinning Babies website. Is that where you saw it? Yeah. Have a look at the Spinning Babies website. It's really lovely. Belly mapping, it's called.
Yeah. And Spinning Babies is awesome if you find out that your baby's like in breech or not in the right position for birth. It's got so many resources. It's fantastic. And also visualizing where your baby is. If it's not in the right position, visualize it to be in the correct position, because how we think, and that can really influence our baby. So yeah, that's a really good thing to do.
We do a lot of the visualization work in the class, with working with the bumps and, you know, moving our hands and visualizing light and the movement of the light around from your heart to your baby's heart. So we do a lot of that beautiful visualization and breath work in the class.
Oh, nice. Cool. So I guess other ways you could get like siblings involved, if you've got older siblings that perhaps maybe they can read, maybe they could read like a little story to the bump. And, you know, this also, I love this, like when I see kids doing this reading to bumps and stuff, because it really helps them to sort of step into that big sibling role and that real nurturing role that, you know, I'm here to protect you, I'm going to be your big brother or sister, or, you know, so that's a really lovely way to encourage that sort of tender and nurturing feeling from siblings. And then also, if you are reading to your toddlers, remember that, you know, you're reading to your bump as well, because they're sitting there listening to it as well. So any type of things like that, they would just absolutely love. Yeah. So did your kids, when you were pregnant with Indy, did your kids get really into it?
Yeah, they'd love to touch the bump and or kisses and cuddles.
Yeah.
They're all into that. And something that we did in terms of reading, we do a lot of reading about birth. So like kids books, there's some really great kids books on the market that you can get around babies being born, so that they understood what was going on. And I think that helped them to sort of, you know, understand their role like in the birth and what to expect, but also like, you know, that you're going to be a big sister now and that kind of thing. So yeah, they used to love reading. Not so much reading to the baby, but like, yeah, they were definitely
interacting. Yeah, it's really cool. So you can get your partner to like read to you as well, which can be really relaxing for you. You can sort of lie on the couch and your partner can read, you know, Sunday papers or whatever you want him to read to you. It's really cool because your baby can hear their voice, and your baby, like with the karaoke, it's the same thing. It's just reinforcing that they're there, they're safe, and that your partner is making you feel really safe, making you feel loved, and your baby is feeling all that as well. So reading, you could get your partner to give you a massage. That's a really beautiful way of bonding and connecting as a family of three. It's a really beautiful way because you have all those gorgeous endorphins and you're really, really relaxed, and your baby's feeling that. So that can really help also then when you get to birth, because your birth partner is, you know, encouraging you and saying how, you know, you're doing great, you're doing all this. It's wonderful. So your baby's going to be hearing that as well. So it's a really great way to get your baby listening to all those voices that, you know, are there to support it and support you. So, yeah. So, I've got a few more things. Is that, keep going?
Yeah, keep going. If you have any questions, jump in, type them in. Happy to take them as we go through. There's also an article, whilst you take a sip, there's an article, a blog post on our website, which is all about bonding with your bump. There's a few other ideas on there that you might like to have a look at. I'll post a link to the article in the comments below once we're done.
Yeah. Cool. So the last thing I just wanted to mention, and when I heard it, I was like, oh, this is a bit too hippy-whippy. But when I was pregnant with my son, and someone said to me, oh, when they're about 2, just ask them, you know, the first day they met you. And I was like, oh, okay, you know, I'll try and remember that. But I did remember that. And when my son was, I don't know, 18 months too, he was barely talking. And I said, do you remember the day you met Mummy and Daddy? And he went, oh, poor splash. And I was like, oh, that was your birth. Because he fell and was caught and there was a big splash. So it's amazing. It really shows that our kids remember stuff from their womb, and it really does affect their development, their emotional development, as well as their physical and psychological development as well. But they are able to recall those really brief memories at an early age. They can't seem to recall them, you know, at a later stage, but it's really interesting. So yeah, put that in the back of your mind for when you've got your little baby, and then just see, because I couldn't believe that, you know, that's what came out of it.
I tried it yesterday, actually, because you said about this to me. And so my second was born at home here in a water birth. And I asked her, do you remember when you were born? And she said, it was at the duck pond.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, oh, it was straight water. Yeah. Like, we hadn't been talking about ducks earlier. Like, we hadn't visited a duck pond. So there was no reason why she would have said duck pond other than that.
Amazing.
So I don't know whether that's just a coincidence or whether, you know, actually she did remember
it.
Involved. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, so if you ask your
There
kids
were no
and let
ducks
us
there,
know.
by the way, though.
Yeah, a duck just flying past. We have a duck thermometer. But yeah, let's see, because I just find all this stuff so amazing, so interesting. And yeah, there is lots of research that's going into that, how we are in our wombs and how we nurture our babies when they're in our wombs can really affect their emotional sort of development and stuff. So yeah, okay. I think that's nearly all my bits. But yeah, I'm from the YC Sydney, and I teach a 3-hour bonding, prenatal bonding class, and my next course is on the 25th of March at 2 p.m. in Abbotsford. And if you mention this, I'll give you like $30 off the course. So yeah. And I also teach birthing classes, and it's all on my website. So ycposydney.com.au.
We can put that in the comments.
Oh, yes.
Well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Amelia.
you.
That was really great. I'd love to hear from you. Maybe you can type in the comments below just some different ideas and ways that you are bonding with your bump. What sort of resonates best with you? I know for me, like, I felt a bit silly talking to my bump, so like for me it was more about touch, that kind of thing, and some movement, obviously, like lots of lovely movement that we do in yoga classes, but was, just dancing and that beautiful kind of movement. So yeah, maybe different things are different for you. We've got a little that's my oldest sneaking in. But we've got our next webinar coming up on the 4th of April. It's Tuesday, the 4th of April. That's all going to be all about prenatal nutrition and postnatal nutrition. So we've got Rachel, who is a nutritionist, will be joining us for that. So really looking forward to that one. I'll post details about that soon. And thank you for tuning in and for watching afterwards. And we'll see you all soon.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Bye.